Your true colors shining through. This is after going down there with the air compressor and shooting it into here, into this area. And I realized that there is more bodywork than I initially realized, which means that it's pretty decently done bodywork, considering I haven't noticed until now. But it looks like there's a fairly thick amount of body filler built up on top of... I don't know if it's a new piece of metal that started rusting away, or if they're... Like, I really don't know what the heck's going on in here, so I really want to, like, start tearing things apart. But I also don't want to ruin anything that I'm going to regret. Because this area is... Like, down here, I don't want to get on the ground right this second. Hold on. Okay. So, before we can paint anything, this needs to be done. Because even though up top everything is in place and ready for paint, I don't want to paint it and then start welding extra things down here, because I can do things in a different order and just avoid that as a problem entirely. So, I want to see what the hell is going on with this thing. Bodywork, this is bodywork. This is not factory. What's going on here? Why is this so soft? They clearly welded in new metal, so that's the inner rocker. Is this all... Like, I don't know, I just don't know what's going on here, fellas. So there was a ridiculous amount of dirt in here, in this area, and I spent quite a bit of time last night with the air compressor at 150 psi just trying to blast it all out. And, that was definitely a good idea, because I don't want my car to be made out of dirt. So, this is a piece of metal that was put in by someone, not at Mazda, and it's got this, like, hole in it. I wonder if somebody tried to jack the car up on it once. It almost looks like someone rammed an air hammer through it or something. But I think I cut this off, but it was mostly ruined. So I need to redo this, and hopefully a little bit better. One nice thing about down here is you really can't see it, and I don't care about painting it the same color as the car. Like, I don't mind doing rocker guard, or... No, I probably will use that special paint that I got, that Dev Guard stuff. So I don't mind if there's a little section that's black down here, because this car is low, and unless you're taking a photo from literally the ground, you're never, ever, ever going to see it. So, clearly, okay, I'm going to spin around so you'll be able to see how thick the Bondo is. Because I managed to get a chip off of it. Well, yeah, I think that whole surface is made out of Bondo, unfortunately. I don't know if there's any metal there to be spoken of. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. I think really what I'm just going to have to do is take some aggressive destruction tool, like the grinder with a... I can't think of words right now. This exact thing. I think I'm going to take that to down here and make a huge mess. Maybe I'll try tripping away at it first to try and reduce the amount of dust that I get everywhere. But I at least want to get the Bondo off of this seam. See what's going on here. Yeah, just working on my car. Bondo. What is this? Oh, I see. Does it become solid metal at a certain point? Can I put new metal in here? Because it's probably what's going to end up happening. Let's go mining. See what we can find. Or what we don't find. Like metal. See your true colors shining through. Why would you fix this like this? This is stupid. Weld in new metal, my man. You clearly know how to weld. There's new metal welded in. Why'd you put a layer of Bondo, half an inch thick, into the seam? My man's. Pourquoi? Why? Look at how thick this Bondo is. I mean, I know it's not that thick. I've seen pictures of some pretty horrendous stuff online, but... why did you put Bondo down here? You can't even see this area. Who cares? It's just gonna rust out and not be very strong. I'm sorry, buddy. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this. This won't hurt a bit. We just got some parts in the mail, and it's bittersweet. Parts Avatar. Front left rebuilt caliper. You know what I got? Gauge d'essence pour un Chrysler. Yeah, they straight up sent me somebody else's stuff. That is annoying. At least the car doesn't, like, need to work right now. But I would be really pissed if I was, like, waiting for my car to get back on the road and then they ship me some bullshit. Come on, guys. But on the bright side, my boys over at Rock Auto are always killing it. I've never had them send me something wrong, and I've ordered like 15 million things from them. Never ordered from Parts Avatar before, and the first thing that they ever ship me, they send me the completely wrong thing. Not a very good first impression, I'll be honest with you. But for the RX7, we got some Trico Chill winter blades. The ones on there right now are gross. Not that I'm going to drive it in the winter, but these ones were the best option. Those were kind of just a thing that I threw into the cart because why not? The ones that are on it are gross. Is there anything in here, or is this just... are there any goodies in here? I think that's just paper. We got more fuel filters because we're going to need more fuel filters. What else? Brake hoses for the front because why not? And the star of the show, a caliper that actually got delivered. What does this look like? I want to check it out. You're getting an unboxing here on the Giles Vesey YouTube channel. I think this is my first unboxing. Ooh. I wonder what they do when they rebuild a caliper. Like, I'm gonna send in my core, and it's gonna have the crap beaten out of it. Like, what do they do with that? Is somebody gonna get one that has, like, marks in it? Or are they gonna, like, clean it up and make it look nice? I don't know. But yeah, everything's all new and stuff, and not gonna kill me. And there's some intense wind going on right now, but I'm just gonna ignore the noise and pretend that it's not happening. Man, this mechanism is super adorable. I've never seen a windshield wiper that attaches like that with like just this little clip that you push on. Status update. This car now has better condition wipers than any of my other cars. Cool. Some things that I haven't talked about. I screwed up pretty badly when it came to this piece of metal meeting up with the car properly. There was a massive gap down here, and I had already welded it in, so I had to make at least one big mistake. So my solution was to cut it from here to the end, and that allowed both sides to go where they needed to be. And I'm going to weld this back up, probably with like an offcut. Like, I have a lot of weird pieces of metal in the shop, so I could probably find some sliver that I could put in here, just so, because obviously I can't bridge that. Maybe somebody out there can, but I definitely can't. But we got one really, really nice weld down last night. One nice thick boy that goes right into one of the, like, frame supports. Light. I also pulled this apart a lot since I last had the camera out and did a lot of trimming and stuff. And we're slowly getting it towards something that we can make something with. Like, it was really it was just an incomprehensible mess of Bondo and rust and other things. So let's take a quick little look at this specimen. So this is what we removed. It's hard to tell, like, it's just a mix of rotted away metal and thick Bondo. So I'm going to be happy to be putting new metal in this section. Unfortunately, this needs some work as well. So this, just to give you some context, this is the same cavity as in here. Hello. So we'll get an opportunity to clean that out extra nice and good. And yeah, this snowballed into a little bit more work than I initially anticipated, but I kind of expected it to be more than I expected, if that makes sense. So the previous owner, or I don't know if it was the owner, but somebody had, like, clearly they did body work here, and they did know how to weld. They just chose to slather everything with half an inch of Bondo in an area where you can't even see it. So there was a piece of metal, you can see where the little tiny little beads are. So I removed that. That took a lot of patience and cutting at it with the tin snips and stuff like that. But we got that removed, so now I actually know what we are working with. So I pretty much completely tore out the previous repair, and we're doing it my way. So the sexy weld that I'm super happy about, for some reason, I'm just really, really happy with how it went down, is that guy right there. So we have our new floor piece, the old floor piece, and this support all melted together nicely. I made sure that this isn't going to go anywhere. This is fine, even though we're working on it right here. Just don't worry about it, okay? So we got progress moving on this area. We're going to be able to make it structural and nice looking. It's just going to take some more work. But we're going to take a break from that, just because I feel like it. And we're going to get into these drum brakes. I've never done drum brakes in my life. I sort of know what they look like on the inside. But, yeah, we're going to learn. We're absolutely going to learn. And also, I'm in the mood to tackle kind of all the rear bushings that I have new ones of. Taking this off will give slightly nicer access to back here, and it just makes sense to kind of do everything at the same time. So we're going to switch from bodywork to doing brakes and suspension bushings. Oh, one quick last thing before I forget. So my theory as to why this area is so just absolutely gone is because the previous fix, so this fix probably happened 15 years ago. I don't know, probably something like that. Just a very rough estimate based on the amount of rust that's happened to the newly installed metal. The reason that there was so much dirt in there is because they really didn't seal. Like, they put a piece of metal in here that kind of wrapped underneath, and they used Bondo to sort of seal things, but there were 2, 3, or 4, like, finger-sized entrances into this area, into down here, where dirt from here was just piling in, and they clearly drove this in the dirt a lot. Like, since I haven't gotten to pressure wash this because I'm an idiot, it's like... Actually, I did pressure wash this, but it was kind of cold out and it didn't really get everything. You can sort of see where I got it in some areas and some areas I didn't. Like, this car was driven down a dirt road every day, for sure. And considering that this had a direct entrance into the frame rail area, no wonder it rotted out. So we're going to fix it up properly this time. This thing is going to live an extremely cushy life with me. Like, I'm never going to drive it in the dirt. I'm never going to drive it in the rain. I'm going to try and store it as much as I can. So, yeah, don't worry, buddy. You're safe with me. New day. Half the fun of this for me is not looking it up at all and just slowly figuring it out my own way. So, since last night, here's the old shoes, here's the new shoes. These are some parts that are separate, and they were really rusty. So I removed them, and I hit them with the wire wheel a whole bunch, and then I hit them with some high temp paint. So that may have been a little bit above and beyond, but feels good doing it. And this thing's interesting. This is like an adjuster for, I guess, the whole thing. Really, the whole system only has one adjustment, which is this thing. And it's seized right now, but I'm going to unseize it. And I was wondering, how does this stay in place? How does this not, like, rattle around and move after you assemble it? And this is kind of cool. It's like this thing sits on top of it, so it's like a ratchet. So I guess you install everything, and then, I don't know, you spin it until a certain point, and then this stops it from rattling loose. It's kind of neat. But, yeah, I'm probably going to install everything in every wrong order possible before I get it right. But as long as I go into it knowing that, then I won't get frustrated. Also, turns out rear brake hardware kits for this application are difficult to find online. I tried reasonably hard, and it's certainly not something that the parts stores have available. So all we really need, so I painted these as well. These are fine. This spring is fine. This is the big guy. I don't totally understand how this works yet, but I'm just going to assemble it the way that it was in the first place and hope for the best. This spring, I really don't trust. So last night, I went to Canadian Tire and I picked up a pack of, like, generic Dorman springs. And this one is not exactly the same. It's a little bit larger in diameter, but the size of the wire is the same. So I made the coily bit a little bit shorter to make up for the extra diameter, which makes it a little bit softer. Made sure it was the same length, and I think this is going to work just fine. So I took this used to be a lot longer, and I just kind of bent it. And then there's also this guy, and I'm not sure what we're going to do. I might just throw this back in. Seems like it might have some life left in it, because I tried making a replacement for him as well. And it's a decent bit softer. Maybe like 20% softer. Maybe it's not crucial at all, and I'll just throw this in. See if it makes noises. If it does, I'll look harder for a hardware kit or something like that. Another thing that I haven't solved yet. These basically look like nails that have this end smashed on them, and basically these go in and then they spin and then they lock in place against these things. So yeah, I think what I might do is go get some nails and try smashing the ends on them and see how successful I am in recreating this piece. And once that's done, we should be in a position to try and reassemble things. We made a trip to the hardware store. We got ourselves some rust converter. We got some nails because I'm going to try and recreate... Oh, did I even bring them with me? Where did they go? So these are rather sketchy and thin. Come on, focus, please. Come on. Come on. I would like to recreate these, and this basically just looks like a nail with a bit that's flattened on the end. So you're going to get a little bit of blacksmithing on the channel today. New side quest. This is seized in there solid. She don't move for nothing, wah. This is gonna be fun. Alright, half a can of penetrating fluid later, we've got this nice and freed up. Pretty happy with how we've gotten it. Can you see what's going on? probably hear it better than anything. It's nice and freed up now. I had to basically slice the rubber coating off of this thing all the way over to here. And again, used a bunch of penetrating fluid, used a bunch of elbow grease, shoving it back and forth a whole bunch of times. And yeah, now I'm convinced that it's going to function as a parking brake, and we kind of did the dirty on it, because I have no idea how this disconnects. There's this clip here, but I don't understand how that gets you any further. I just don't understand. And this will probably last for potentially the life of this vehicle in my hands. So, zip ties, electrical tape. I know electrical tape just sucks in general because it gets all sticky, but who cares? So if I find one of these online when I'm searching around for parts, I'll definitely order it and maybe do some research and see how this disconnects. But probably low priority, because this, in my mind, is fixed. We have, so what I did, my approach for this, once we got it all cleaned up, cleaned it with brake clean to get like all the extra loose bits of dirt out, then covered it with penetrating fluid so that it was on the inside, so the actual, so this is like a spiral. So if you shoot on the outside, it'll end up getting to the inner tube and kind of getting everywhere that you want it to. And then, once there was penetrating fluid, like, on the actual cable on the inside itself, I wiped the outside with brake clean to try and make it not super greasy whenever I was putting the electrical tape on. So, we didn't do too bad. Side quest complete. Let's keep going. Remember when I was talking about how much I love this clamp? Yeah, I continue to love this clamp. If you actually know how to do drum brakes, you're probably laughing at me right now, but that's okay. So, I think we got it together. This was the last guy to go on. There's that spring in there, which I think all that spring does is do this ratcheting mechanism thing. So it has nothing to do with like the actual brakes per se. It just keeps the adjustment screw from backing off. And here's our new guy. Looks pretty nice and at home down there. And here's the big reveal. Let's see if everything springs and springs and explodes and flings everywhere. And alright. Okay. What a convoluted system, man. I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point. There's a reason that drum brakes don't come on new cars, but what the hell, man? You clearly know how to do calipers. How much money could it save? You know why they probably do it? Because you have to pay the dealership more hours worth of labor to get this done. And probably cheaper to manufacture, but Jesus, man. What the hell is all this crap? Your time has come. Alright, I think this assembly is in business. It's ready to stop the car. I was watching somebody on YouTube the other day, I forget who it was, but they were doing drum brakes and they basically said, get it so that it's just barely dragging whenever you put new pads on and new rotors, or new drums. That's basically what we have. I can hear it hitting a tiny bit, but I'm sure that there's some very light irregularities in the surface of the pads and stuff, and it'll wear in. Nothing is worn in yet. So next, I want to start taking apart some suspension. Eventually we're going to get to the drum brake on the other side, eventually being probably this weekend, but I want to put some nice new rubber in there.